Beginning, the tension in the observation bay. The observation bay hummed with the deep, low resonance of the ship's engines. Outside, the stars drifted like dust in an endless ocean. I leaned against the cold glass, my reflection barely visible against the glow of 1,000 suns. That was when she entered, Commander Aaron Vexa of the Ellerin Dominion. 7 feet tall, skin a muted silver blue that shimmered faintly under the white lights. Her eyes glowed faintly violet, like 2 fragments of starlight brought to life. Every human on the Odyssey avoided looking at her too long. I never could. She'd been assigned as our liaison after the truce, a fragile peace between humans and Ellerin, brokered after decades of silent war. I didn't trust her. Not really. But I also couldn't stop watching her. "Human," she said, her voice like velvet wrapped around steel. "You're supposed to be recalibrating the gravitic sensors." I turned from the window and smirked. "And you're supposed to be not sneaking up on me like that. You'll give a man a heart attack." Her head tilted slightly, a distinctly Ellerin gesture of curiosity. "Your cardiovascular systems are remarkably fragile. Perhaps I should." Chuckled. Was that a joke? Her lips curved. Not quite a smile, not quite a warning. Perhaps. There it was, the tension that always hovered between us. Something just beneath the surface of professionalism. I'd tease her sometimes, mostly to see if she'd ever break that calm, perfect expression. She rarely did. But that day, something in her eyes was different. When I said, "You know, you almost look human when you try to be funny," she looked straight at me, unblinking. The air seemed to thicken between us. Her reply came softly. "And you look almost Ellerin when you stop pretending not to notice me." For a heartbeat, the hum of the engines felt miles away. Middle, the mission that changed everything. A few hours later, I was in the hangar prepping for a reconnaissance drop on Vega-Nine. Aaron joined me, fully armored in the matte black Ellerin exosuit, faint purple veins of energy tracing her arms. "Captain Ren Hale," she said as she approached, her tone businesslike again. "You will require an escort. The Vega-Nine surface remains unstable." "I'll be fine," I replied, securing my helmet. "It's just a quick scan." "I wasn't asking," she said simply, stepping into the dropship beside me. I sighed, half amused, half annoyed. "You just like bossing me around, don't you?" "Perhaps," she said again. That same infuriating word, only this time, there was a glint in her eyes that made my pulse jump. We descended into the golden fog of Vega-Nine. The air shimmered with static. The planet had been scarred by ancient plasma wars. Ruins of metallic spires jutted from the cracked ground like the bones of titans. Our scanners picked up faint energy readings. Aaron and I moved through the ruins side by side, our suits transmitting the faint hiss of oxygen flow and distant thunder from above. When we reached the core of the site, we found it, an Ellerin artifact, pulsing faintly with violet light. She froze. "This shouldn't exist here." "What is it?" Her expression darkened. "A neural bondstone. They were used in rituals. Dangerous ones." I raised an eyebrow. "Rituals? Like religion? Like connection?" she replied quietly. "Deeper than your concept of thought. It binds 2 consciousnesses, permanently." "Sounds intimate," I said, trying to lighten the mood. Her eyes flicked toward me again, that faint pulse of violet deepening. "More than you understand." Then, without warning, the ground shook. A seismic pulse erupted beneath us. The bondstone flared to life, energy crackling outward. "Move!" Aaron shouted, tackling me to the ground just as a wave of violet light burst from the device. It passed through us both, leaving a lingering hum in my skull. When I looked up, my helmet display flickered with static. Erin was breathing heavily beside me, her hand still gripping my chest plate. "Are you hurt?" "Yes." "No. But—" She stopped mid-sentence, her gaze unfocused, as though she were hearing something far away. Then her voice echoed faintly, not through my comms, not through air, but in my head. "When? Can you hear me?" Froze. "What the hell?" Her eyes widened. "You heard that?" I nodded slowly. "That wasn't external comms, was it?" She shook her head. "The bond stone. It connected us. The connection, minds entwined." The flight back was silent, at least verbally. Inside my head, however, it was chaos. Every thought that flickered through me, confusion, curiosity, even my irritation, brushed faintly against her consciousness. And she felt it. When I thought she probably blames me for this, her voice answered, clear as crystal. "I do not blame you. I blame the stone." When I thought her voice even sounds different in my mind, she replied, "You think too loudly, Rin." I tried to laugh it off, but the truth was, the connection was intimate in a way words couldn't describe. Our emotions didn't just pass through signals. They merged. At one point, I caught myself glancing at her reflection in the viewport. The faint light over her features, the calm focus, the quiet beauty of someone who had seen war and still stood tall. And she felt it. Her violet eyes met mine without a word, but I knew she'd felt what I just thought. "Human," her mind whispered gently. "You should not think that way about your superior." "Then stop reading my mind," I replied silently. "You are broadcasting too much emotion. Can't help it when you look like that." That time she didn't answer. But I felt the faint flutter, warmth, confusion, ripple through her mind like a pulse of starlight. I realized something then. Teasing her out loud was one thing. Teasing her when she could feel my every emotion, that was something else entirely. Crisis, the attack. We didn't have time to understand the bond before chaos erupted. The Odyssey was ambushed near the rim by rogue Ellerin warships, factions that didn't accept the truce. The alarms blared through the corridors. I sprinted to the command deck, Erin right behind me. The crew was scrambling, the stars outside lit with plasma fire. "They're targeting the reactor core," one of my officers shouted. "Redirect power to shields," I ordered. "Erin, can you?" She was already ahead of me, her hands glowing with violet energy as she interfaced directly with the ship's systems through her armor. Her mental voice reached me. "Their trajectory is erratic. They're not aiming to win. They're aiming to destroy both sides. Then we stop them." We launched the counterstrike. I piloted the auxiliary turret system while Erin directed the Ellerin defenses. Through the bond, our coordination became seamless. I didn't even need to speak. Left flank. Already covered. Boost reactor flowed to 72%. Our minds moved as one. For the first time I felt what true synchronization meant. Not as commander and alien, but as something deeper. When the last enemy ship detonated in a bloom of violet flame, silence fell over the bridge. Erin turned toward me, her armor dimming. "You fought like an Ellerin," she said softly. "And you," I replied, "like someone who's done this for more than one war." Her lips curved again, that almost smile. "You feel proud of me," she said in my mind. "Maybe." And something else. I met her gaze. "Don't push it." She didn't answer aloud, but her eyes did.